Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey, yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante, and we back for another great show as always. Man, we got a lot to talk about. I know we've been gone for a minute, but we're about to get it cracking, y'all. It's about to go down like a plane crash. Let me go ahead and introduce all my guests as always on the panel. I got my man Arab King. Go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel. That's Arab King. I got my man E King Fight News. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. And I also got boxing writer Kirk Jackson in the building on the phone, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. We got a whole lot to talk about. Also, guys, you know, if you guys want to go ahead and call in, you could call in. We'll most likely take calls in probably the next 20 minutes or so. We'll try to take a couple. It shouldn't be too long of a show this time, but let's go ahead and get it in. The number is on the screen right there, guys. You see the number right there on the screen, so just go ahead and call in, and you guys will be in line to get to talk some boxing. All right. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. AK, let's go ahead and start with you, man. Lot of boxing news, man. Lot of boxing news. I want to talk about this Canelo versus Chavez situation. Right now they're negotiating. Canelo Alvarez, they offered Chavez $6 million. What do you think about the offer? What do you think about the fight, AK?
Yeah, I would love to see that fight. Obviously, if he could make the weight 165, which I heard he made the 168 weight class, no problem the last time he fought, and that's Chavez. So if he could make the weight, fine. I think he should take the $6 million. But I understand why his father wants like 30%. You know what I mean, or 35% of split, because that pay-per-view will probably maybe more than the Golovkin fight. You know what I mean? Just because it's going to be on the, Mexican Independent Day, and they both Mexican fighters. Chavez Jr., his father was a legend, and, Canelo is the biggest Mexican star right now. So that fight makes sense. And because Golovkin, I guess you could fight Golovkin in September if Golovkin accepts the $50 million he offered him after that. But, that fight makes sense, and I would love to see it.
Yeah.
To see how Canelo will be able to deal with somebody who's bigger than him. We never seen him really fighting somebody who's bigger than him. But I don't think he's going to have that much hard time with Chavez due to Chavez's lack of skill.
Mm-hmm. And, Kirk, you're talking about $6 million. You should be able to make the weight for $6 million, right?
Oh, definitely. If I'm Chavez, I take the running and run, or just take the money and go in there and get your ass whooped. That's what's gonna happen. There's a disparity in skill, and I think it's a really great matchup for Canelo, just because I think fighting a guy bigger than him, as Arab King touched on, is going to get him prepared for Golovkin eventually. I think, which the fight will happen in September. And Chavez, even though he's a long fighter, or he's been the bigger fighter in many cases where he has a longer reach, he likes to fight on the inside. So, it kind of works in Canelo's favor. And it'll be exciting. The fans will enjoy the fight for as long as it lasts. And, I think it helps him get prepared and stay active for Golovkin eventually. So it's a good fight for Canelo for sure.
Yeah, but that's the question.
And this fight is not like a guy like the Brook situation where he moved up 2 weight classes. He fighting a guy way bigger than him and very talented. With Chavez's situation, he probably could make 160 if he stays in shape all year. But the problem with him, he just likes to eat too much, and then, he fought 175 if I'm not mistaken. So, it's just the fact that he blows overweight all the way to 200 pounds. He's a big dude, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he could have stayed at 160 way longer than what he actually did. But that's because of his lack of motivation to train and stuff like that.
Yeah. E.
And
King.
plus, Chavez is not that skillful
Yep.
to be, you know what I mean? Like, if you move up the weight, find somebody like Chavez, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, yeah, and if this is the fight to prepare him for Golovkin, only thing he gonna really get to prepare with when it comes to Chavez is just the fact that he's in there with a much bigger, stronger guy. But we all know you can't really compare Golovkin's skill, obviously, to Chavez's skill. So I mean, with that being said, E. King, do you think that Canelo will take the Golovkin fight after that, and you think this is a fight just to prepare him for that Golovkin fight? What you think, E?
That's a big question. I think Canelo, part of the Chavez Jr. is to stay busy and to have a big fight for Cinco de Mayo. I know. I don't even think it's Canelo's decision. I think this is all on Oscar De La Hoya. I think Canelo wants to fight. I don't see any reason why Canelo wouldn't want to fight. He's going to be campaigning in the middleweight division pretty soon, especially if he moves up at this catch weight at 165 for Chavez. He's going to have no excuses to not be fighting Golovkin.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's just all about Oscar De La Hoya signing off. I think he's the guy that is pushing for these kinds of fights for Canelo, where bring Amir Khan up to make that fight, or who knows? Canelo might move up to 168 and fight, and cherry pick a title. You never know. You really never know how Canelo's going to be managed, and Canelo really doesn't give a shit. He's the draw. He's the eighth side. If Golovkin makes the concession and concedes whatever needs to be done in the negotiations, there's no reason why the fight shouldn't happen. It's just part of it's negotiations and part of it is everyone coming to terms here. Both these guys have an interim fight, and if they both win, that's going to be the expectation. And fucking, Oscar De La Hoya is on fucking first take saying he's vowing the fight's going to happen. So we just got to take his word for it for now, even though I don't really trust him.
Yeah, I mean the whole.
Y'all know Canelo is already the number one mandatory for Saunders, 160.
Yeah.
So
Which
if he ain't fighting Golovkin next after Chavez, he fighting Sanders after that.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what the plan is. And I'll be honest, I don't mind either one of those fights. I really don't mind Canelo fighting either one of those guys. I mean, of course, he's going to have to fight Golovkin. And we all know when it comes to the Chavez fight, that's more of an entertaining, exciting sideshow. It does nothing for his status. It does nothing for his status when it comes to ratings and rankings. When it comes to status, pound for pound status, it does nothing for that. It's just an entertaining fight to watch. It's kind of like almost like an entertaining undercard fight for the main event. So, but I look forward to watching it because we're used to seeing Canelo in the ring with smaller guys, and now for the first time he'll be going in the ring with somebody bigger than him. But then again, I don't know with Canelo, because Canelo might be saying to all of us, I got y'all fooled, because I'm going to walk around and I'm going to blow up to probably around the same weight that Chavez is at the night of the fight. So who knows, man. But let's go ahead and take a quick call and see what we got right now. So I'm going to call you guys by your area code when I announce you guys, all right? So we got area code 832. What's going on, man?
How you doing, Dante? This is Jarvis from Houston.
What's going on, man?
I got two things I want to talk to you about. The first thing is the Danny Jacobs and Golovkin. Honestly, it's sad to me. Look, Golovkin is a great fighter, but at the end of the day, he never stepped up and fought no competition. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Danny Jacobs, but he ain't really all that. But it's crazy that we got to get excited because he's somewhat of a threat. You don't understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Golovkin can just go ahead and step up to some competition. And I honestly, my opinion, I really feel like Golovkin gonna run through him, bro. I really feel like
it's possible. It's very possible. Go ahead.
Yeah, to judge it from talent wise, Golovkin ain't really fought nobody, but even that Brook, The only reason I ain't say Golovkin didn't get exposed, and this the only reason why, because Golovkin knew he was the bigger man. So when he took that first punch, he felt like he could just walk through his punches. So I really feel like he went up in there with reckless abandonment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if Danny Jacobs and I feel like on this fight, you're going to see a difference.
Yeah.
Golovkin knows it's a threat, so he's going to come better prepared. And I really feel like he just going to run through this man, bro. I really feel like that.
And you know what, man? That's why, to me, this fight is so tricky because I could see it both ways. I could really see Golovkin just walking right through Danny Jacobs. Maybe what Abel Sanchez said is true. Soon as Golovkin touches him, Danny Jacobs is going to freeze up and then end up, get knocked out. But I can also see Danny Jacobs going in there and him showing so much respect for Golovkin that it actually works in Danny Jacobs' favor to where he doesn't really get hit with anything stupid. He moves around very cautious the way he did against Peter Quillen, and, he may just catch him with something. I mean, but this is a tricky fight because, once again, we know that Danny Jacobs, he has the power, he has the foot movement, he has the speed, but yet at the same time, he's never been in the ring with someone on Golovkin's level, and on top of that, he has been knocked out before. And he's going in there with the hardest puncher in the middleweight division with 23 knockouts in a row. So that's why, if I was forced to, to lean towards someone, I would lean towards Golovkin. But, he does have a chance. And kind of to respond to what you said at the beginning when you said it's crazy that we have to kind of say, this guy has a chance. And, that kind of makes it seem like Golovkin is stepping up, in competition or taking a huge step up in competition. It's not a huge step up in competition, but it is better competition than David Lemieux, Willie Monroe, and the rest of the gang. But with that being said, if it wasn't for him being knocked out, this would be a huge leap. This would be like Charlo versus Williams, like Thurman, even versus Danny Garcia. So, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Right.
Go ahead.
And the only reason I say that because that Peter Quillen, I'm not gonna knock the man's accomplishment, but I didn't really feel like Peter Quillen was all that, man. I've seen a lot of holes in Peter Quillen's boxing game, and I feel like he avoided a lot of fighters too. And I really feel like he found Danny. Now one thing I do say Danny Jacobs do have, he does have that punching power. Mm-hmm. He does got punching power. He's a very intelligent boxer. Yeah. So that might get hit. It might turn into an okay fight, but overall, I feel like he's gonna be overmatched. He's gonna be overwhelmed, and it's sad because Golovkin making his division look boring because he don't want to step up and take competition. As talented as he is, he don't want to do that, and that's the same thing with Canelo. Now Canelo tricky to me because I don't know if it's Canelo or if it's Oscar De La Hoya. Because Canelo passing up a lot of fights,
it's
man.
Canelo.
It's crazy.
It's Canelo.
You say what?
I'm gonna tell you, man. Yeah. It's Canelo because Canelo, he has the type of ego where he doesn't take a backseat to anyone, and that includes his promoter. Remember when Canelo wanted to fight Edeslandi Lara, Oscar De La Hoya did not want that fight. Oscar didn't want that fight, and it was because of Canelo's pride that he took that fight, because so many fans said he was ducking him, he was afraid, he took that fight. I also remember after Canelo fought, after he beat Cotto, I was there at the press conference, Oscar De La Hoya said to the media, he said, well, I got to talk to Canelo and see what Canelo wants to do. I truly believe Oscar when he says that. Canelo Alvarez, he's that type of Michael Jackson Prince type of celebrity in boxing. Meaning, he's not going to sit back and be a yes man to Oscar De La Hoya. So what we doing next, boss? Who we fighting next? That's not him. He the type of person to tell Oscar De La Hoya, look, Oscar, this is what I want, and I want to fight this guy. He's not a Manny Pacquiao, that just sits in the back and says, I'll fight whoever, my promoter tells me to, so with that being said.
And Dante, speaking of the Jacob Golovkin fight, first thing that people got to remember, Jacob is not as skilled as Kell Brook. Yes, he's a natural middleweight. That's what makes his fight so, interesting. But as far as skill-wise, Kell Brook is way more skillful than a Jacob. So the hands that he was able to put on Golovkin, that's to Kell Brook credit as well. You know, he's that skillful of a guy, and he don't telegraph a lot of things, and he has a good speed and good timing. On the other hand, Jacob, I don't think he's as skillful, but of course, him being a huge middleweight and a hard puncher is what making this fight interesting. And if he don't freeze, if he goes in that ring and let his hands go, because he could hit Golovkin. We all know that. Golovkin
not let his hands go
in the world. Yeah, he better let his hands go, because at the end of the day, like Golovkin, he's hittable. But the only thing that people get gunshot when he hit them, and that you're gonna fall to Golovkin game plan, and you know what I mean. If Jacob let his hands go, the fight gonna be interesting. If he goes in there a little gunshot, you know, it might be smell trouble for Jacob, and that's why I got Golovkin on that fight.
Absolutely.
And everything you just said about Kell Brook, I agree with you 100%, and that's why I feel as though Golovkin gonna run right through him. And this fight with Canelo and Chavez, my personal opinion, I feel like if he don't fight Billy Joe Sanders, I don't want to see him fight Chavez, bro. Because to me, if let's say hypothetically Chavez get lucky and knock him out, because the main dude got punching power, it's gonna be another excuse. Oh well, he was bigger. You know, it's always some kind of excuse with Canelo. I really want him to step up in competition. That Lauren fight, what you were talking about, Dante? Lauren won that fight. I never seen him beat anybody with body shots.
Yeah.
Did you see Canelo face after that fight?
I've never heard of a fight where someone won by landing no headshots. I mean, no headshots, because that's what the punch that showed. So yeah, I'm completely on board with you. And I mean, obviously, we know it takes a special fighter who has confidence in his skills to take a rematch when it's a close decision. We've seen Floyd Mayweather do it with Maidana. Yeah, of course, because that fight was close, it was controversial, and the rematch would have been even bigger. You know what I mean? No matter what people want to say, when people say, oh, he was boring and et cetera, if he's so boring, how is it Canelo does some of his best numbers when he goes against that guy? You know what I mean? That's just a cover up for them to say, I don't want my guy Canelo to fight him because that guy is too much of a risk. That's basically what the translation is when they basically say he's boring. Hey, man, but I want to say thanks for your call, man. We're going to go to another call. Take care, all right, man?
Hey, Doc. Again, greatly appreciate that, bro. Y'all have a good one.
You too, man. Take care, man. All right, y'all. So y'all got anything else on that before we take another call?
Yeah, man, I gotta say. Who y'all picking for that fight?
For which one? Chavez, Canelo?
No. Jacob Golovkin.
You know what, man? Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. You know, with my prediction right now, I'm gonna have to lean towards Golovkin. But I'm just saying, if I start seeing, Danny Jacobs train when we get closer to the fight, who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? I want to see a little bit more. I want to see how Danny Jacobs looks, getting closer to the fight. But right now, if I was forced to lean, I would have to lean towards Golovkin. I mean, it's a tough one. This is, like I said, this is a tricky fight, man, because once again, we really don't know how Danny Jacobs is going to react because he's been knocked out before. But that could be very misleading because that was a long time ago. He's matured since then. And that could be an advantage and a disadvantage for Danny Jacobs, because one could say he knows how it feels to be knocked out. He knows how it feels to be knocked down and get back up and win a fight. And Golovkin hasn't dealt with that yet. He hasn't dealt with that type of adversity, where he has to, basically dig deep, swimming in them deep waters. So we're going to see, man. What you think, AK? AK, what do you think?
Oh, me. I agree with you. I got Golovkin because Jacob, he got knocked out before, and the guy who knocked him out, I forgot his name, man. I can remember that.
Pirog.
He was really skillful, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was really good. And if that dude fought Golovkin, that would have been a 50-50 fight. That dude had movement. He had good defense and all that. I only saw that fight, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen his other fights. But, yeah, as far as the Golovkin-Jacob fight, I got Golovkin because I feel like Golovkin has the better chin. Even if he get cracked, I think every time, Stevenson landed a hook on him, he buckled a little bit, but he recovered quick and never really showed it. You know what I mean? And Jacob, I feel like if Golovkin lands on him clean, he's going to be out. But on the other hand, if Golovkin get hurt, I feel like he'd be able to recover better because he has a better chin, and I feel like the pressure that he's gonna put on Jacob, and even if they box, I don't think he's gonna get outclassed all the way, and eventually he's gonna land on Jacob because let's be honest here, Jacob don't have a Floyd Mayweather type of defense.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, I see Jacob, he has a puncher chance. But I'm thinking Jacob.
Yeah, and
I mean not Jacob, Golovkin.
And I'm not trying to compare. I'm obviously not trying to compare Peter Quillin to Gennady Golovkin, but I think it's pretty interesting to take into note that when Danny Jacobs went into the Peter Quillin fight, he was an underdog in that fight as well for the same reason he's an underdog in this fight, because he had already been knocked out before, and so he was an underdog going into that fight. And he ended up knocking out Peter Quillin in the first round. Once again, not trying to say, because I know somebody going to be like, oh, but Golovkin is a different animal. Of course he is. But, let's just think about that for a second. And you know what? I'm about to take Go ahead.
If we're looking at this like legit, if Jacobs pulls off a victory, this is upset of the year type stuff.
No doubt about it.
Really big underdog.
It might be upset of the decade.
This is one of these. This is like Golovkin's a monster. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's got everything sort of in his favor in terms of building his name and becoming the next star. He's got all the hype behind him.
Absolutely.
No one's expecting to go there.
Absolutely.
And get a victory, but he's in Brooklyn. The one thing he's got going for him is in his hometown. He's got a punch. I don't know if he can outbox him. I really don't. But if he can get his shots in, and if he can, he's gonna have to trap. He's got to trap Golovkin.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be real careful.
Power
is. Golovkin's got a different kind of power, man. If you remember fucking Curtis Stevens that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Curtis Stevens' face after the first couple punches, man.
Curtis
Stevens was not ready for that shit.
There is no doubt
about it, man.
There is no doubt.
He's definitely the favorite here, and he's got to make him. He's got to try and frustrate him and make him look bad.
No doubt about it.
Well, I think. So you're picking Golovkin?
Yeah, I got Golovkin by KO, 6th, 7th round. I think eventually he'll stop him, but.
Go ahead, Kurt.
It all depends on who gets hit first, really.
Yeah, that's that.
How they take each other's shots.
I agree with that. I mean, once again, I just want to see how Golovkin reacts if he really does get caught with some hellacious shots, because I believe on a scale 1 to 10, if we're talking about power, you could probably say that Golovkin is a 10, and it could be argued that Danny Jacobs is at least an 8 to a 10. You know what I mean? But we would have to ask Golovkin after the fight, what he thinks about that. But yeah, man, we'll definitely see. And I'm about to take this call right now. But before I take the call, Kirk, do you want to give a quick prediction on the fight?
Yeah, I favor Golovkin, but I think something should be taken of note. For me, at least, I think Golovkin's physical skills are starting to erode a little bit. And he's never really, in my opinion, had great defense or head movement. So he will be a target for Jacobs if he chooses to actually let his hands go. And Jacobs is very athletic, and he has power, like you guys mentioned, along with fast hands. So that'll be a factor. And if Jacobs wins, they better do a movie on him, because he beat cancer.
Yeah,
and then
big time.
He's able to beat Golovkin.
Big time.
Do this. They better do a movie about him.
No, that's an excellent point. Exactly. Excellent point. You see, they already did one on Vinny Paz because he got into an accident, broke his neck and everything, came back. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and take another call. We have area code 773. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, Dante? What's going on?
All right, man. Where you calling from? What's your name?
I'm calling from Chicago. My name's Jason. I'm actually an amateur boxer.
That's what's up.
I just wanted to give a quick opinion on Golovkin. One day when I was in the gym, to make a long story short, my coach had told me, he said that he thinks that Andy Lee and Danny Jacobs, when it comes to having one punch and knockout power, he said that he thinks that they both have the most, I guess, he said that they both is the hardest hitters when it comes to having one punch knockout power. So I just wanted to
You
say
said
that I
who?
think that Danny
You said
Jacobs,
Golovkin and Danny Jacobs, or is that what you said?
no, Andy Lee and Danny Jacobs.
Andy Lee. Okay,
He
okay. You sound a
right.
little
When
more.
it comes to one punch and knockout power,
Uh-huh.
he said that he thinks that they have, that they hit the hardest when it comes to having one punch knockout power. And I just want to say, I think that Danny Jacobs don't shock the world because I want to ask y'all a question. If Danny Jacobs would have fought Kell Brook, who do y'all think would have won?
Man, that's
Jacobs.
I would go with Danny Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs, that's no question.
I would definitely go with Danny Jacobs. No doubt about it. I mean, and once again, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Danny Jacobs does shock the world. It's just, I mean, it's very difficult to just say hands down Danny Jacobs wins the fight. So that's why I can't wait to see this fight, and I can't wait to see the first 3 rounds, if it even goes that far, because I think we will know for sure. I truly believe we'll know for sure pretty much who will win the fight in the first 3 rounds. I truly believe it's that type of fight. So, I mean, and I know, there could be ebb and flows and all kind of stuff, but I believe we'll know after 3 rounds who's going to win this fight. So we'll see.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead, man.
Just one more thing with Danny Jacobs. I think he'd have beat everybody that Triple G would have beat. I think he has.
No doubt.
I think he got what it takes to beat him, and he got the right type of attitude.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's funny you say that because even Kell Brook said that. He said, I would have beat all of the guys that Golovkin beat, and I think Kell Brook would have beat him too. Even with the weight disadvantage, I think Kell Brook would have beat those guys. So I mean, that's why I say this is not a huge step up in competition for Golovkin. But it is. But Danny Jacobs is much better than his other opponents, despite him being knocked out before. So. Yeah, man. Well, it's good to know. I mean, I know it's going to be some late money coming in on Danny Jacobs. I mean, the fact that it's out there in New York, that's got to motivate Danny Jacobs even more. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Well, thanks for your call, man. I'll go ahead and let you go. All right, man?
Yeah.
All right, take care, man.
Yeah, Dante, what's up, man? What do you think about Lara versus Demetrius Andre? The 154 division is hot right now.
Yeah.
And Demetrius Andre calling out everybody, but then Lara responded saying that, they did make him an offer, and then Demetrius Andre has come back and says, it's a BS offer. There's no money in that fight. But what do you think about all that?
Well, I mean, first of all, Edeslani Lara, he just recently said that after the Foreman fight, he's going to move up to 160. Of course, I would love to see Lara fight against Andre. For those of you guys who don't know, Lara and Andre, they fought in the amateurs, and Lara, he won the fight, but Demetrius Andre said he was only like 15 or 16 or something like that, and by that time, Lara was already a full-grown man. You know how the Cubans do. They stay amateurs forever, but with that being said, I feel nobody beats Demetrius Andre. I don't see anybody beating Demetrius Andre. I would love to see that fight, but I don't see anybody beating him. And then when it comes to the Charlos, same thing, man. I mean, and Jamal Charlo, he's already talking about moving up to middleweight as well. So the only person really left staying at junior middleweight is Jamel Charlo. So maybe we'll get, Jamel versus Andre eventually. We know Canelo, he would rather fight a cruiserweight before he fight the monsters at 154, which is understandable because everybody I talked to, trainers and pro boxers, they all said that most likely, Andre or the Charlo brothers would beat Canelo, including Abel Sanchez. So that's pretty much, that's pretty much how I see it. And then I also wanted to talk about the Amir Khan, and you guys can respond to what we were just talking about as well, but I still want to bring up Amir Khan. He just recently said that a Khan versus Brook fight is close to being a done deal. Now, I hate to say I done told you guys so, but Errol Spence, once again, has been avoided and ducked. Now, everybody got mad when I did I won't say everybody, but a lot of, Brook supporters or, Errol Spence detractors, they got upset when I did a poll and I said, and this was a while ago. This was way before the Brook versus Golovkin fight. I said, you guys go ahead and vote. Do you think that Kell Brook is going to either fight Errol Spence, or is he going to vacate or prolong? And the majority of people said some. I don't remember. I believe the majority of people, they said he would avoid him, and then some people said he would just prolong it. And right now we see that Kell Brook, he has no interest at all in facing Errol Spence. You can't say it's a money excuse, because when Kell Brook was fighting his other mandatories, there was no money in those mandatories. We know that he's going to make 3, 4, 5 times more against this mandatory Errol Spence. So you can't even use that excuse anymore. So, Kirk, what do you think, man? Should they? I'm surprised they haven't stripped this man yet. Is he getting special treatment? Why haven't they stripped Kell Brook yet if he's still talking about fighting somebody else? Kirk?
He's definitely getting special treatment. I'm not sure what the reasons are, but I know that Amir Khan is the safest fight for him, because even after the Golovkin loss, he talked about maybe going down to 154. But even leading up to this question or discussion, you mentioned all the killers out there: Demetrius Andrade, Eric Danilara, who's going to move up, the Charlo brothers, etc. So he's not winning none of those fights. And then Errol Spence, we know he's not beating him because he's ducking him right now. There's a reason for that. And he wants to fight Amir Khan because that's the most winnable fight that can generate some money.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. It's just a shame, man. It's a shame. This is what messes up the sport of boxing, man. You have people you have people just doing whatever they want. If they feel someone is a threat, they could just easily say, you know what, I'm gonna keep my belt and I'm not gonna fight you, and I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. There needs to be a commission and a better structure in the sport of boxing. And that's what it really comes down to. What's up?
The worst part is both of these guys, Kell Brook and Amir Khan, they had plenty of chances to make a fight with each other years ago. When they were both at least campaigning at welterweight, when Amir Khan had some vacant title, or when Kell Brook was IBF champion. They should have made that fight. And with the huge numbers, they could have been doing the Wembley Stadium fight that fucking Joshua is about to do right now. They could have been doing that.
Absolutely.
Instead now, both of them get knocked out. Both of them duck each other until they both find themselves in a situation where they're both coming off a loss. And now there's no luster on the fight. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. Who wants to see Amir? I don't want to see Amir Khan back in the ring.
And he got Virgil Hunter too.
It is a HBO.
Yeah,
what happened?
I don't even know.
What happened?
But see,
what happened with that Virgil Hunter?
He's not working with Virgil Hunter anymore.
Well, Amir Khan, he does that a lot. A lot of these fighters, they want to try to blame all of their flaws on a trainer or whoever, blame it on everybody but themselves. But at the end of the day, I completely agree with you.
Kovalev.
Yeah.
Whoa, what did Amir Khan do when he lost to fucking Garcia? What did he do?
He got another trainer.
Freddie Roach.
Yeah. And before that, Freddie Roach was the greatest trainer in the world. We know. At the end of the day, I totally agree with everything you said, E. King. It's a joke. The fight is a joke. Khan hasn't come off no huge win. The last thing that's stuck in our head is him getting knocked out and plastered against Canelo Alvarez. So why would Brook be looking forward to fighting the guy who just got knocked out when you have your number one mandatory who you supposed to be forced to fight? And that's another thing when fans try to say, hey, come on, man, he's just trying to make money, et cetera, et cetera. This has nothing to do with money when it's a mandatory. When it's a mandatory, you don't have any options. You know what I'm saying? It's like if the judge or the courts tell you got to show up to court, you can't say, well, it depends on how much money you're going to give me. No, they telling you have no choice. You have to show up, right? So, that's pretty much what it is. But let's just try to slip in one more call. We got a whole bunch of people on hold, and I appreciate you guys holding. We're going to go ahead and take 718. 718, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, man, Dante? Great show.
Thank you, man. Where are you calling from? What's your name, man?
Dave Mendez, calling from Brooklyn, New York.
That's what it is. All right. What's going on, man?
Actually, I just got some info that Errol Garcia is going to be going down at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, so I'm excited about that.
Oh wow, I'm glad you shared that. That's big news right there, man. That's real big news.
Yeah. Also, I think that Danny Jacobs is being overlooked. Golovkin's a great fighter, but I just think the way people are putting his name in front of Jacobs is just sort of disrespectful. When there's so many other intangibles. Yes, he got knocked out 6 years ago. He came back from that knockout, and his knockout record is as impressive as Golovkin. You're looking at somebody that's 36-0 at Golovkin, with 33 knockouts, 90%. And then you got Daniel Jacobs with 32 wins, 29 knockouts, at 88%. You got Jacobs, he's 6 feet, 73-inch reach. He's got a 3-inch reach on Golovkin and a 1.5-inch height on Golovkin. So there's a lot of intangibles that I don't think the other people are seeing. Let's also go back to their last 5 fights. You got, one notable on Golovkin's resume, which would be Lemieux, legit middleweight title holder at the time. And then you got Peter Quillen on Jacobs' resume. So I don't think he should be overlooked. And, he's not a one-trick pony at this point neither.
You bring up some valid points. I mean, once again, and you know what? I was talking to Kirk about this right before we started the show. It's funny because I noticed when I kept talking about the advantages or the skills, the attributes that Danny Jacobs has, and some of the flaws that Golovkin has, it's like you had some fans that were basically saying, I can't believe you're saying that Danny Jacobs has a chance. That just shows how biased you are to even say that he has a chance. I mean, these fans, they have to deserve. These fans, they have to decide. You can't have it both ways, and that's what these fans are trying to do. Now, if we were to say, "Oh, Danny Jacobs got knocked out before, and he's a bum," and Golovkin is just cherry picking, fighting another easy guy because he know he's been knocked out, so he's going to win easy. Now, if we were to say something like that, then the fans, they would be like, "Oh, come on, Dante, this guy is a good fighter. Look, he just knocked out Peter Quillen, and this and that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera," right? But when you say all of a sudden Danny Jacobs has a chance, then they get upset. So either way, they don't want to hear anything that they feel is criticism towards Golovkin being, somewhat of a flawed fighter. They want you to basically, I guess, say that Golovkin is the greatest fighter and, there's no flaws that we see. But that's ridiculous because whenever I talk to professional boxers and trainers like Oscar De La Hoya and just many others, Teddy Atlas, they talk about some of the ways to beat Gennady Golovkin and they talk about his level of competition, So, if you get mad at the truth, you got to get mad at everyone who's speaking the truth, not just one person. So, yeah, man, but go ahead.
I'm definitely more excited about this fight. It's not equally than the Thurman Garcia fight, which I see as another 50-50 fight where people are just overlooking Danny Garcia.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I talked about that too. AK, I talked about that. I said that, even though I'm slightly leaning towards Thurman, I truly believe Danny Garcia is going to do much better than people expect. I think we're going to see the best Danny Garcia, and I truly believe that Danny may push Keith Thurman more than Thurman has ever been pushed before. I don't think Danny is going to go in there walking into stupid punches. So, it's going to be a very competitive fight, much more competitive than I think a lot of people are expecting it to be. So, yeah, man, that's another barn burner, man.
I got Garcia winning.
One more.
You got Garcia? Okay, there you go. Kirk is picking Garcia to actually win that fight. So that just shows you how competitive that fight is, Go ahead real quick, man.
One more point with as far as Canelo, I think what's going down is a business move. He's got this one shot that was given to him, granted to him, that belt has suddenly appeared that he's eligible to fight for, and that to me is his one avenue to get some leverage or more leverage going into a fight with Golovkin, because other than what he's done at 154, he's got nothing but word of mouth. With De La Hoya saying, "Oh, He's a pay-per-view star. He's this, he's that. He's all that, but he's not a belt holder at 160. So he's got to go for it's the Saunders belt that suddenly presented itself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's got no other choice because look, Golovkin's fighting the best opponent he could possibly fight at 160. So if let's say Golovkin does win and beat Danny Jacobs, and then he goes for Saunders, where does Canelo have to go after that? So there's no question in my mind that Canelo might have to sidestep that plan of fighting Chavez on May 5th and consider going for this title before he loses his shot altogether, as saying he's got some kind of leverage going into a fight with Triple G.
Yeah, I mean, there's Go ahead, AK.
No, I was just saying, Canelo, he might fight Chavez, then Saunders, then fight Golovkin.
He might do it.
He's going to do whatever he feel like.
And it's also going to depend on how Golovkin looks against Danny Jacobs, too. I mean, well, even though, we've already seen, I'm sure Canelo, he was licking his chops after he seen the Brook fight, So, if you guys kind of think about it, it's been a slow, almost downward spiral almost. And I mean, not an extreme downward spiral. Of course, Golovkin has been impressive, but at the same time, you look at the Willie Monroe fight, right? And we've seen slight chinks in the armor.
100%.
And then you look at the Brook. Well, matter of fact, let's start with Kasim. Well, Kasim Uma, he almost lost that fight. Let's start with Curtis Stevens. You seen small chinks in the Curtis Stevens fight. Then it went to the fight that I just mentioned. What fight? Willie Monroe. Then it went to the Kell Brook fight, where in the Kell Brook fight, we really seen some chinks in the armor. Now he's about to fight against Danny Jacobs. So, it'll be interesting to just see how this fight plays out. And I truly believe that if we see Golovkin get staggered, get knocked down, if he, loses a couple rounds decisively, Golovkin, he may sign the contract the same night of that fight. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Go ahead, man.
You know what all those fighters have in common?
Huh?
They have above average hand speed.
Above average hand speed. They have ring generalship, the boxing IQ, and they have a pretty good defense. I totally agree. But anyway, hey, man, thanks for your call, man. We're going to go ahead and take another call and keep it pushing, man. All right?
Thanks, much appreciated.
Hey, take care, fam. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. So, but before we take another call, let's go ahead and switch. Something else I also wanted to report some news. Congratulations to Don King, Deontay Wilder, and Lou DiBella for suing Alexander Povetkin, because this is the type of action you need to take when you got guys that's consistently failing drug tests, got you flying out to Russia for a fight, and you can't even pass a damn test. This is not the first time, but the second time that Povetkin failed a test. He failed a test, of course, against Deontay Wilder. When Wilder had flew out there, everyone said that Wilder was afraid of Povetkin and he was ducking him. Soon as Wilder flew out there to Russia, he failed his drug test. And now he was trying to fight. They was about to fly. Matter of fact, Bermain, he flew out to Russia. And then Povetkin, he fails another drug test. So now they're suing Alexander Povetkin. January, Povetkin, he will be deposed. He has to do a deposition for that lawsuit. But the funny thing is, Alexander's people, they have the nerve to try to countersue Deontay Wilder. They're trying to sue Deontay Wilder and Lou DiBella for $34 million. And I talked to Kirk about this, which, like I told you, Kirk, I truly believe it's just, you asked me, is it to save face? I truly believe it's partially to save face. It's a pride thing. I just really hope that, Deontay Wilder or even Don King, they make some progression with this lawsuit and possibly win the lawsuit. Hopefully, Team Povetkin, they have to settle out, and it's somewhat of a minor victory, because this stuff has got to stop. It's got to stop. Stop. Go ahead.
Why Don King is suing?
Don King is suing him because Don King promoted Bermain Stavern, and they basically, they promoted. They spent money promoting the fight. They had to fly out there to Russia and all the other expenses that I'm sure Don King could break down. They suing him for that, So that's pretty much what's, you promote a fight that never happens, basically. So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll.
I know, and Povetkin got the fight, so he got some money out of that. Meanwhile, Bermain, he had to take off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't even want to sanction it.
Yeah.
They wanted to wash their hands for that shit.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, Povetkin.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take another call. Once again, thanks for everybody holding. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take 252. We got 252 in the building. What's going on, man? 252, you there? Okay, he probably fell asleep. He was on hold for a long time.
That's where I'm from.
252? Oh, then that's probably, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and, okay, we got 585. What's going on, 585?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, man. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Andrew from Lyons by way of Rochester.
Okay, that's what it is. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, I was listening to what y'all was saying about the Errol Spence Brook fight, or maybe not fight happening.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of those mandatories like I would love to see, and that's probably one of the few that like an actual mandatory fight that I would pay to see, like no ifs, ands, or buts. And I remember Spence from the Olympics, and I think he takes Brook down, but I don't think he's going to whitewash him like my man and like a few other people are thinking.
Oh no, I've always said that I thought that out of all the welterweights for Errol Spence, Brook is his toughest opponent. I've always said that, so I'm with you on that one. But
I think like if he had to match up against like all the champions, he beats Garcia, and this is Spence. He beats Garcia, he beats Thurman. But just like you said, Brook is by far the toughest.
Yeah.
And that's what's pissing me off too, because Kell Brook, that fight could have been so huge, man. It could have been the number one guy in the welterweight division type of fight, and Kell Brook goes up there and get knocked out by Golovkin and come back, and now he's trying to fight Khan. Like really, and
and like I was hearing like a couple of the callers. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you good.
Yeah, but I think that's something that could have happened like at least 2 years ago, at the very least.
Yeah,
that I wouldn't have mind seeing when Khan was actually on the up and up.
Yeah,
and see, the thing about it too with Errol Spence, like, and in the welterweight division, you never know till the fights happen. But I don't see nobody giving him a tough fight. I don't see nobody giving him a tough fight other than Kell Brook, because Kell Brook is the one guy that doesn't telegraph anything. He's good with the 1-2, has a good timing, good speed, good power, good size on him, and all that. I was really looking forward to see that fight, and then Kell Brook, pulls out with that chicken shit, and makes. I mean, it's really pissing me off, man. Him and Khan is really killing the welterweight division.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about chicken shit to an extent, you got to put Canelo in there. I'm sorry. Because
the
Golovkin fight.
Well, his own fans
is happening now.
I mean, and not just the Golovkin fight. All the 154 pounders from Carlo to Demetrius Andrade. I mean, Demetrius Andrade had that belt for I don't know how long. Canelo wouldn't even mention him. He called Canelo a bitch, and he wouldn't even mention Andrade's name. But as soon as the other guy holds the belt, Smith, he fights him right away, which shows you. And he still ignored him till today in all the 154 pounders. So I know that about it.
Like Canelo, are you 54 or are you 60? Choose one, please.
Yeah.
Never wait.
Well, now he's super
never
middle.
Wait, never wait.
No.
150, never.
Now he almost a super middle.
Yeah, I make it no problem.
Now he almost a super middleweight because he was willing to go to whatever weight to fight against Chavez. So,
that fight's not going to happen, is it?
You said the Chavez Canelo fight?
Yeah, that fight's not going to. It's not going to happen.
Why do you think it won't happen? Why?
Shit. if Canelo takes that fight, that's telling you he's scared of Golovkin. I don't care what anybody says. I'll jump up. You want to meet people at a catchweight, okay?
like you'll come down, like they got to come down to fight you, but then you'll go up to fight Chavez. And what if Chavez killed him? And then what?
Well, I got a question for you.
Golovkin wanted to fight Brock. He wanted to fight that other guy. He even wanted to fight Chavez Jr. At one point in time.
What you talking about?
That fight. I remembered hearing about that. I want to say like, what was it, like 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a question for you.
Give or take.
AK.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
okay.
I got a question for you. Canelo offered Golovkin $15 million, they say. But Golovkin's saying he wants some of that pay-per-view money. That's why he ain't taking that fight yet. So do you think now is the Golovkin ducking Canelo, or how you feel about that? Because to me, that's on Golovkin part now. I feel like Golovkin ducking Canelo now if you don't take that $15 million.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. Yeah, that's tricky there.
When Canelo fought Floyd, he was way more popular than Golovkin is today. And
definitely,
he didn't get
absolutely.
$15 million. Yeah, and he didn't get $15 million, and he fighting Floyd Money Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what did he make for that? What was it? It was like 10, right?
What?
Yeah, and
he made 10 for the fight, and then like probably like an extra 3 or 4.
What are we talking? Which fight you guys talking about again?
They did the same thing.
Yeah.
We talking about the Canelo Floyd fight. How much Canelo made? He didn't make $15 million, and plus the Cotto Canelo fight. I don't think he made the $15 million guaranteed. So
really?
At the end of the day, he didn't even make that much with the Cotto fight. Cotto got $30 million. You know what I mean? But
Cotto was guaranteed.
I knew Cotto made money, but I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, he was guaranteed.
They paid him real good.
Yeah, he was guaranteed $15 million.
I didn't know
that Rock Nation deal was good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hey, I got one for y'all. And this is gonna be much weight down. Who y'all got between NOA and Chocolatito?
You said
that's a good one.
Sorry?
You talking?
Yeah,
I knew it. Oh, you said I knew it. You said NOA. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I would go with I knew it on that one. I would go with I knew it. I mean, I might even go with Kudras in a rematch, but I would definitely go with I knew it.
Yeah.
I think this is I truly believe this is the beginning of the end for Roman, man. I really feel. I mean,
I saw it.
We see
like
so
in the Quadras fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that fight, if they were going back to 15 rounds, I think Chocolatito gets stopped within another round or two easily.
I mean, you see the same type of pattern to me with a lot of these, type of fighters that they kind of get hyped up. They get all the credit in the world before they prove how good they are. It reminds me of Nonito Donaire when he was rated pound for pound number 3 in the world after he knocked out Fernando Montiel. All of a sudden, we slowly started to see a decline. We started to see him get exposed against lesser opposition, and he just against Matabula, Narvaez, Wilfredo Vasquez, he continued to show flaws, and then all of a sudden it took a guy with, of course, athleticism and all that kind of stuff to completely outclass him. And this is what we're seeing with Roman Gonzalez right now. We've seen the beginning of the end in the Arroyo fight.
And I truly believe that fight could have went either way.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, the only reason Donaire won that fight is because he got the knockdown, because that was a split decision. And it was because of the knockdown against Vasquez that Donaire got that fight, So, but with Roman Gonzalez, we seen the beginning of the end with Arroyo, and then it was Cudras, and who's next, So that's what happens when.
Yeah, it might have been the Quadras fight more than anything.
Yeah, but anyway, man, I'm gonna let you go. 585, man. Thanks for your call. All right, man.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Hey, you too, man. Take care, man. And I just want to give a shout out to my man Igloo. He gave me a donation in the comment section. That's the first donation in the comment section, so I appreciate that. Shouts out to Igloo. Any of you guys, if you want to go ahead and donate and show your support, you can always do that. I really appreciate it. As always, this is my full-time gig. This is how we get down, so I appreciate that. But anyway, moving on, man. Anything else you guys got before I take another call? And we about to wrap it up in a little bit, but we're going to take another call. Anything else you guys got on your mind?
Who's the fighter of the year, guys?
Fighter of the year.
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's out of Lomachenko and Crawford to me. You know what I mean? It's out of those two. It's out of those two. You know, and I was telling Kirk.
Yeah, man, maybe I give it to Lomachenko.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that. I was telling Kirk we was going to do all of the awards next week because I want to get all of the fighters. I want to, make sure we don't forget any of the fights, because, we have a tendency of remembering what happened in the second half and not the first half. But, next week we'll try to do a full, awards show so we could give everybody the proper awards. But, yeah, I think I would kind of have to lean towards Lomachenko. I mean, he stepped up in weight and, won a title against Roman Martinez. And then he not stepped up in weight again, but then he completely dominated Nicholas Walters. And I had said to myself, or I said to a couple people, if Lomachenko completely dominates and beats Nicholas Walters, I don't really think I ever pick against him unless he moves up to 140. And we know who's at 140. You know what I mean? Or unless Rigo, and then they meet at a catch weight to where Rigo is not, coming in there with a 20-pound deficit or something like that. So outside of Rigo and Crawford, I don't see anybody beating Lomachenko. So I would probably have to give it to Lomachenko, when it comes to fighter of the year. So that's pretty much how I have it.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, what do y'all think that knockout of the year? Is it the Lomachenko versus Martinez knockout or Wilder at the beginning of the year? I think that knockout was.
Well, well, I mean, if we just talking about, it's a lot of things you have to consider when it comes to the knockout because, of course, you got to look at how vicious. Yeah, that was a vicious knockout. That's what. See, you know what? We're gonna talk more about it next week, man, because I want to go ahead and get a list. We're gonna get a list of all of these fights: fighter of the year, fight of the year, knockout of the year, prospect of the year, upset of the year. We're gonna have all of that, So, but I want to go ahead and, like I said, put it all together before we kind of just throw it out there. So, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what did you guys think about a lot of publications? They're giving fighter of the year to Carl Francis.
Yeah, I really don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't get it either. I guess he did beat Scott Quigg. Was that this year when he beat Scott Quigg?
Yeah, he beat Quigg and
Leo Santa Cruz. And Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. They have an argument for him, especially if he beat Scott Quigg, which was another undefeated prospect, and on paper that was a highly anticipated fight, at least out there in Europe. When it comes to the UK and all that, it was a highly anticipated fight, and then you had Leo Santa Cruz. So it could be argued.
Hell no.
What's that?
Frampton ain't on the year. Like, he don't deserve to be on no goddamn fight of the year. Because, you ain't going to be ducking nobody and trying to be the fighter of the year when you ducking the best competition.
Yeah,
the best guy in your division, how can you be the best fighter of the year? You know what I mean? That don't even make sense.
There's no doubt about it. He definitely. Go ahead, Kurt.
I was going to say another name I'd throw in there. He might be a sleeper, but Andre Ward, just for the fact of beating. I mean, Alexander Brand's not no one special, but Sullivan Barrera's not trash. Yeah. And then obviously Sergey Kovalev.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple. There's definitely, a whole lot of close calls when it comes. And once again, this is why, like I said, I want to sit back and kind of, look at all the possible candidates. Because no doubt about it, I mean, if you really look at it on paper, Andre Ward, he got the most significant win. I mean, when it comes to level of opposition, a lot of people had him as pound for pound, despite all of the controversy. All judges, they had the fight scored the exact same way. I mean, but yeah, it's a lot of ways you could look at it. I probably would still lean towards Lomachenko, but it's a lot of different ways you can look at it when it comes to that right there. So, it pretty much is what it is. I'm gonna go and take one more call, and then let's go ahead and take this call. All right, so we got 216. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother?
All right, what's good with you, man? Where you calling from? What's your name?
My area code's from Cleveland, but I'm in the military. I'm calling from California right now.
Okay, that's what's up. What's on your mind, man?
Not too much. And I'm a huge fan, dog. I've been listening to you like when I was in Afghanistan in trash. Kept me motivated, loving this boxing shit. I want to talk about like a couple of things, like about the Triple G, Danny Jacobs, and also about fucking Errol Spence. That's cool with you.
Hey, talk about whatever you want to, man. Go ahead.
Yo, man, I think it's messed up how Brook is trying to duck Errol Spence. I mean, like everybody said when they called in, man, I feel for Errol Spence because he's been good forever. I used to box in Cleveland, and I heard about Errol Spence like 3 years ago. People were saying that dude's a beast, and I feel like he should get I want him to get his just dues. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
But, yeah, for real.
And the only
way,
and the only way he's gonna get that just due is if somebody steps in and they put pressure on Kell Brook and they force him to do two things. You either give up that damn belt or you take that ass whooping like a man and get in there with Errol Spence. You know, I mean, let's just
it's so corrupt, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And no one is even really talking about it. No one is saying, why don't they strip this man? Why are they allowing him to hold this belt hostage? You got Errol Spence. He's going to have to keep fighting eliminator, type of opponents over and over. You keep doing all these eliminator bouts. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, they need to do something about it, man. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, for real, man. I agree with you 110%, big dog. Freaking about Triple G and Danny Jacobs, I like Danny Jacobs a lot. Like, I think he has explosive power. Like, I think another caller was saying that he has that one punch knockout power. And I give him a big shot, but I think Triple G has a little bit more skill than people give him credit for. Like he reminds me kind of like I want to say like not evasive like Willie Pep, but how his movement is, how he can punch with both hands from any angle. I respect it a lot, and I think he's gonna be a little too much for Jacobs, but I think Jacobs is a good shot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I tell you one thing, man. I just really hope. No matter what happens, I really hope that Jamal Charlo, he keeps his word. He moves up to middleweight. I think that will be the first time we really have a true 50-50 fight involving Gennady Golovkin if he gets in there with a Jamal Charlo, because the power that Jamal Charlo displayed, against Julian Williams, I think he can match Golovkin's power. I mean, to see power from a distance, like when he throws his jabs, his right hands, you see all of the power. Usually you see a lot of power in people's hooks, uppercuts, body shots, like a Gennady Golovkin, right? Not saying Golovkin doesn't have a good right, because he does, but the power that I was seeing from Jamal Charlo, it was amazing. So it would be power for power in that fight, and it would be at the highest level when it comes to skill. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was like a 50-50 fight. Man, Julian Williams was a beast.
Yeah, that was a 50-50 fight. No doubt about it. You could just see them matching each other's wits. You could and seeing them counter a counter. You don't see that too often. You seeing them counter a counter, and they were landing flush, hard shots. Matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, that could even be candidate, for fight of the year, even though, it was Jamal Charlo, who ended up, dominating by knockout. But I'm just saying candidate at least, but that's pretty much what it is, man. But hey, man, thanks.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much what it is. Anything else on your mind before I let you go, man?
No, I think like one more thing. I think the fighter of the year, I gotta say, I would give it to Andre Ward, even though he didn't fight too many good dudes. But like Andre Ward, when he beat Kovalev, I thought it was a close fight. I don't know if people were saying robbery, none of that bullshit, but I thought it was a good fight. And I thought Andre Ward should be the fighter of the year because, he beat the top dude. He's the number one pound fighter.
He didn't beat the top dude. He beat the pound for pound top dude. So I feel you, man. I definitely feel you, man. Well, thanks for your call, man. Call back anytime. All right, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Take care, man. So yeah, man. That's pretty much what it is, y'all. So like I said, we're gonna elaborate next week when it comes to once again giving out the awards, fighter of the year, fight of the year, upset of the year, prospect of the year, all of that, bum of the year. We, cherry picker of the year. We gonna go ahead and throw in. We gonna throw in some extra awards, and on some real stuff, man. I'm gonna send out some DBN shirts, with the crowned award name on the back of the shirt for some of these guys, like prospect of the year, So that's what we're gonna do, man. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. You guys got anything else on your mind before we wrap it up, y'all?
What do you guys think about Kovalev kind of throwing his trainer under the bus?
You know what? You got to hit me to that because I haven't read that news. What happened, Kurt?
Kovalev, he gave an interview and he was kind of blaming his loss to Andre Ward on what's his name, his trainer.
Really? Oh boy.
Yeah.
I guess we're about to see another monkey shirt with his coach's face on it now. Oh boy. Once again, that goes back to the Khan situation. First, you remember, me and you was there covering the fight live, Kurt. First right. Kovalev, he was saying that he got tired, right? Then, he said, Andre Ward, he ran too much. And then when I asked him, I said, well, you say he ran too much. So, are you saying that that's a flaw that you have where you need to work on your foot speed and you don't know how to cut off the ring? And then when I said that, then he changed it. And he said, oh, no. Well, it wasn't really the moving, et cetera, et cetera. And now you're telling me that now he's blaming the trainer? Come on, man. And it's funny because Andre Ward, he just recently said Kovalev needs to come to grips and admit that he just lost the fight, But of course, when pride is involved, you get a lot of these fighters that do this type of stuff. In a sport like boxing, it's the only sport where people cannot admit that they lost because too much pride is involved. So. Yeah. But that's interesting news, y'all. But anyway, hey guys, for sure, I know we've been off for a while, but for sure we will be doing the show next Monday. All right, it'll be 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. We'll definitely be doing the show. I want to say thanks once again to all my G's on the panel. My man E King Fight News, Arab King, Kirk Jackson. You already know your boy Dante's Boxing Nation. We'll see you guys next week. We on to the next one. We'll get at y'all. All right, y'all. Y'all take care now.
Peace. Take it easy.
And once again, we'll see you guys next week. Remember, we may switch the time from 5. It'll be around 5:30 to 6 o'clock. That's pretty much all we got, guys. On to the next one, y'all.